What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Wortman, Physique, the Higher Purpose Podcast, live from the Legacy Fitness Club. I'm here alongside
Brandon Petta. How are we doing today, gang? That was an electric introduction, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting better at these. I feel like,
well, it's episode 14.
14 times of practicing and all the vlogging lately. If you haven't checked me out, YouTube, Chris Wortman Physique. If you're missing out on the fun at the club, just go on YouTube. You can literally see the whole day in like 5 minutes worth of footage.
You can just watch a day in the life, but you'll probably fucking notice that like not every day is even close to the same. And
no,
it's just
yesterday I have on footage of me going home to get a new treadmill because the one here broke. I don't know if you even noticed there's another treadmill.
Oh, I did not. I didn't check it out. But hell yeah.
I got a text from someone today. I was like, dude, I just watched all the vlogs. I was like, no way.
Let's
like
go.
Someone that I went to college with. I was like, that's kind of weird, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Dude, I mean, like we said, bro, every single day is so different. You can go from the training in the middle to the business stuff you're doing in the middle to the podcast in the evening to the different types of people too that come into the gym at different times of the day. It's honestly unbelievable. Like, it's such a unreal culture here. It's a smorgasbord.
Yeah, there's literally I feel like there's a little bit of everything from age to gender to, I mean, different types of people. It's really crazy. And but I don't know, I've learned to connect with everyone. Like, we have our own unique relationships. Whether you're like 70 or you're an 8-year-old boy or you have Down syndrome or you're overweight, shredded, an athlete. And
everyone has like a respect for one another here, like a tip of the cap. Like, if there's not that many people here, like an early morning crew, I would say, for example, like that would be more of my tribe because that's when I'm working out. Right. But like, even if we don't have like that many heads in the gym, like people like always give the head nod like when you walk in, and like when people leave, like you'll go up like just like fist pound someone. It's like I
can be in the middle of like a training session, like explaining something, and somebody like people will wait in the background to shake my hand to let me know they're leaving.
Exactly.
Like, I'll see you tomorrow.
That happens way more.
And I was like, all right, drive safe. Yeah, like I love it though. Like, I mean, really, it's different. So if you haven't checked us out yet, 3637 Carmen Road, Schenectady, New York. Free day passes, free month right now too. We're running sometimes I forget about our own promotions. We're running a first free month. So if you signed up today, you'd have till March 11th free. Literally no payment. So no hidden fees, annual, none of that bullshit. We just want you to be a part of what we got going here because it's special. That being said, let's dive into today's topic. We have a couple of different names for today's topic.
Let's go with your name.
All right.
I like your name.
But let's say them both just in case.
Yeah, all right.
So my idea for this is, when has dieting gone too far?
And I mean, I like Chris's actually probably better, but you could also just like frame it as like when you may need a diet break. Like, diet breaks are common slogan, or you might hear them often in the fitness industry, hear about diet breaks, and whether you think they're actually helpful, whether they're kind of just a waste of time. And so we're here to kind of break down when you may actually need a diet break, and like Chris said, like when dieting, when it's come too far and could potentially be more hazardous for you than beneficial at a certain point in time.
Right.
What do you... Oh, okay. Answered someone. All right. I'll start off. So, when dieting has gone too far. So, I broke it up into a couple different places. Like, one could be like, there's so many subsections of this, but like psychological reasons. Like, your psyche can be affected so much by going on a super aggressive diet for a very long time. So we'll get into those different types of reasons. But the other subcategory I have is physiological reasons that you may need a diet break. Like, literally you're pushing the limits so hard that your body is responding in a negative way, and it's pretty much screaming like, hey, like, stop this shit. Like, we got to do something else.
I think physiologically comes a lot later down the road.
Sure.
And that's like to people that have taken it really quite literally too far.
Yeah.
And the physiological reasons include low libido, so lower sex drive, low energy, feeling fatigued. And that can be inside and out of the gyms. So lightheaded, especially after and during activity. And then I'm reading off of Brandon notes, but loss of muscle mass and strength, and cold.
I did cold specifically because when I was doing my 30-day like kind of rapid fat loss cut. I just wanted to show people essentially how the hell to lose weight. So I did an extreme approach for 30 days and I document everything on Instagram and TikTok and everything. But when I went super low calories, even just that short stint of 30 days, I was freezing all of the time. When I was so low
there's
calories.
like two reasons why. First things first, thermic effect of food. Like we hear about this, but like most people don't really know what that means. They see it as a part of their energy balance, and that like 10 to 15% of calories are burned that way.
Yeah.
But the thermic effect of food, when we eat, it actually takes energy for our stomach. Our stomach is a muscle to break down food, to rip apart protein and break everything down to a small enough unit that it can get into our small intestine. So it takes energy, and that actually does raise our body temperature. So eating a meal, that's why some people, like, literally when they go to an Italian restaurant, they're sweating at the dinner table.
Yeah,
like, that's not a fucking, sorry for my language, that's not a joke. Like, they're sweating because their body's working hard, almost like exercising to break down that food.
Yeah.
However, there's another reason too, and I've noticed this when I was bodybuilding, was when you are super lean and have literally no fat on your body, it's not even so much the lack of food, it's the lack of body fat. Like, it's almost like being hairless, like a hairless dog. Like, there's no insulation on you, and I used to be like freezing, and I mean, I would have a space heater in my room and have that thing cranked up to 80, sleep in leggings, sweats, and a hoodie.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Yeah, and my first competition season, I remember even like sitting on my back deck in July, sunny day out, wearing sweats and a hoodie and being completely comfortable.
Yep.
Just because I was so like thermo adapted to like needing to be that warm. Which is not a good quality of life, let me remind you. Like,
no.
It's not nice being in the air conditioning and a shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of the summer. Like, it should feel refreshing, feeling cold.
Yeah. So
that's a con to dieting.
Do you want to? I think we should hit the physiological kind of first. And
that's
what
I was thinking, because physiological, like I said, is going to be more of an extreme case scenario.
But so just some other stuff. So substantial loss of strength and muscle mass. So when you are losing weight and you're on a track of like a half a pound to 1 pound per week, the reason that's also such an awesome place, because it's so sustainable and you can do that for a long period of time, is that's also going to give you the best place to be at to retain as much muscle as possible. Especially if you're just bulking, you work super hard to gain that muscle.
Right.
You don't want to just lose it all right away, all that hard work and all those gains, because you cut your calories way too low.
This is another thing I can attest to, and like, it's completely, I think, like, the last time I went on a really hard cut, it was like 100 pounds off my squat, 100 pounds off my deadlift, and it's super mentally, like,
it sucks,
frustrating, because you look great, but you feel completely terrible. So like you said, a half a pound to a pound, much more sustainable. You're going to keep your strength, and I think, like, I don't know about when you're in this like phase, it's really maintenance. Like, if you can maintain all of your like max lifts, all of your and it doesn't even have to be a max, but let's just say you dumbbell press 50s for 8 reps. Yeah. If you can maintain that from your 170 to 150 pound cut, you've won. That's an amazing job. Yeah. You've lost 20 pounds and you've maintained that ability to move that weight 8 reps.
I was just having this conversation with my one buddy who's cutting, and he just recently got to 315 on the bench press. I don't know if it was max or for reps or something, but we were talking about like his goal body weight and his cut and this and that, and he was like, dude, I'm not as worried about the goal specific body weight as just looking leaner while sustaining my gains. Like, how much of a more of a win is that when you can still throw up the 315, but you're looking just like lean and strong and not just like totally fucking depleted, and it's clear that you lost your like that's like that sucks. Like, yeah, you have the aesthetic look, but like, the goal should be to like have that vitality while also being lean and looking pretty solid. So I can definitely attest to that. And just personally on this journey I'm in, I feel like I made it to this isn't a brag or anything, but like I got recently, like a month ago, to the 100-pound dumbbell press for like 10 reps. Yeah. And it's like I don't want to leave like the hundreds now. Like, you make it to this point and like you don't want to, like, you worked hard to get there.
Absolutely, dude. I feel the same way with like the 500-pound deadlift. Like, I don't want to lose that.
Exactly.
It's, unfortunately, So I feel like there's certain lifts too take a bigger hit. Bench being one of them when you're on a cut. That's just something anecdotally, at least for me, and even some of the guys here that have like started their cuts, like they've noticed their bench is just like, and I mean there's a lot that goes into it, but primarily glycogen, especially at the beginning. If you like start cutting and you lose strength right away, like that's like glycogen storage, and that's not because you've lost muscle tissue. I guarantee one big Five Guys meal and you hit that number the next time you do it.
That's fair.
So it's like, don't freak out. There is like there's more that goes on than just like dropping out. And another thing too is like it's important to know like your body doesn't want to burn muscle, so like unless we really push our body to like a point of extreme calorie deficit, it's not going to want like choose muscle as a source for energy. That's only it. You have to look at muscle tissue like gold. Like it doesn't want to give it up, but it will if it has to, and if it feels like it needs to, it will.
I think those are all phenomenal points, and just like think about it, just like it sucks, like the whole one thing about living is like you want to be strong because we want to survive in this world. Like when you're weaker, like you're less likely to live. Like there's no way to live and walk around.
That kind of leads into the extreme fatigue, low energy, and lightheadedness, and like that's something I can really attest to. Like 2-3 years ago in my last competing, I mean, I just remember like putting on a backpack and walking about an eighth of a mile across campus felt like you're asking me to deadlift 500 pounds for reps. Like, it was so exhausting to move, to walk to the bathroom, like to go up the stairs at night. And like, that is no quality of life. If you're feeling like that, like if I obviously push myself to an extreme, but like, even if it's just like you're feeling lethargic, like really lethargic throughout the day and like simple tasks around the house are getting like draining. That you've probably taken a little bit too far. And unless you have like a specific deadline that has to be met, like give yourself a little refeed. Give yourself a little like indulgence. Like we want to have that energy, that vibrance, and like feel good while we're going through this process.
Dude, 1,000,000%. And also one thing, like I feel like not everyone is down. Tracking is good for them, right? Tracking can, for some people, it's not the move. But another thing I actually really love about tracking is some people who predominantly never dieted before, don't really understand much about it. If they're not tracking, I think many people are actually super likely to just go to that starvation, like skip breakfast, maybe like a small sandwich with like celery, super small dinner, and then their calories are actually just like so low because they're trying to lose, because they don't really know how to diet. So the tracking could actually save you because you can realize, wow, I can actually eat a lot more but still be in the deficit.
And I think there's so many like reasons. I think it's part of like our society. I know we always say it, but like it's true. Like we want everything right now. Like we want everything yesterday. Like why can we not start thinking 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, depending on the person, a year? Like I always. Extremely overweight clients, I'm like, let's think about a year from right now. Like 2 pounds a week for a year. If you looked up in 1 year and said I lost 100 pounds, you'd feel pretty freaking good. I don't think you know. But it's like they want that first week. Oh, I went from 250 to 248 after a week of dieting. Like, oh my god. But like, it's not how it's gonna work. But I was saying tracking, because I think another thing too is when you go. So like, there's either like you could have higher calories, diet for a long time, and reach some of these like negative effects. But also, if you go short-term dieting and go really, really, really restrictive, some of these extreme fatigue, low energy, lightheaded is going to start to happen within the first couple of weeks without even really like losing too much body fat in the process. Like your body's because you're restricting it so much.
And your cortisol is just rising like a motherfucker because it's so caught off guard.
So yes, if you're someone who has like the not the ability, I don't know the word for it, but if you're someone who might be one of those people that like over restricts, then tracking I think is definitely I think
some of my clients are like, oh my gosh, like I'm not used to eating this much, when it's like a substantial like deficit, like not substantial, like a moderate, like it's a solid deficit for them to lose like a pound a week. I'm like, gosh, I'm not used to eating this much.
I know, like 1,600 calories a day, that's so much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking like I have like 1,600 calories as my mid-afternoon snack half the time.
But that's what I'm saying, man. So like, it's gonna be different for everyone, but tracking can genuinely like help you from a lot, like from becoming lightheaded because you just assume that you can't eat anything when you have to be dieting.
Right. And I mean, it depends too on the type of. Some of my like clients are, and even myself are like creatures of habits. Like I eat the same thing day in and day out. So if I track for one day and I eat the same 4 meals 4 times a day every day, like, I don't really need to track every day because I'm not changing anything.
Sure.
Some people would rather wake up with a clean slate every morning and be like, I'm gonna fill my macros for the day.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the person. And if you're one of those people, it's probably better to track. Other people are spot on consistent. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I really would like play around with is depending on what I'm going to train the next day, I might go a little bit higher carb. That might be an extra packet or two of oatmeal in my like last meal. It could be rice cakes. Like I'm like today was leg day, so last night a little bit more carbs before bed, give me a little bit more energy. Yeah. Tonight I'm have like push day tomorrow and no carbs.
Yeah.
Like it's just like but I've also gotten to that point now where I have that ability to kind of have the knowledge and intuition to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then, I mean, just like kind of going up the list and wrapping the physiological stuff up, like we touched on, extremely fatigued, low energy, like it sucks. Like you'll notice, obviously, if you're going to the gym, if you're way too aggressive into your diet for too long, too low calories, like lifting's like not very fun. Like it's not super fun to see yourself like and just absolutely.
Let me be real too. Like lifting is supposed to be fun. Like going to the gym should be like leisure for you. It should be a release. It should be an outlet, not a chore. When it feels like a chore, you might have taken your diet or fitness goals too far. Mm-hmm. If it feels like a chore, it should feel like something you look forward to, an outlet. It's a hobby. It's something for fun. Mm-hmm. When it starts to feel like it's a chore, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym, but I have to. That's when I start to notice that this turns more into an obsession, into a job, into an unhealthy habit rather than a healthy habit. Yeah. And I think that's something to really pay attention to. Mm-hmm. And listen to your body. I mean, it might be a little early to get into this, but Brandon and I were talking about it earlier this week on a treadmill. Something that really I've shed light on that I never really thought too much about was like the MyFitnessPal goals for like, okay, let's just say like our goal is lose 1 pound a week. It's going to put us in a deficit of 500. If it's 2 pounds a week, it's going to put us in a deficit of 1,000 calories a day. Like 1,000 calories. That's 7,000 calorie deficit for a week. So the macro, like just the little shifts of like, I'm going to throw in an extra Cliff Bar to give me more energy. Some people are like, oh no, I'm eating 240 more calories than I did yesterday. Yeah. 240 calories compared to the 7,000 calorie deficit that MyFitnessPal has you in is absolutely nothing. Yeah. So it's like you cannot beat yourself up over 240 calories here and there, 200, whatever, 300, 400, an extra little pre-workout meal. If that's what it's going to take to bring your energy up and like have a more sustainable diet, like 10 out of 10 would recommend doing it.
And when it comes to cutting the calories so low that you have so low energy, like yes, in reality, you do not have to exercise, you don't have to do cardio, you don't have to lift in order to lose weight. Like, if you don't eat, you're going to lose weight.
Here is another thing, too. We talked about this. It's like, let's just say your BMR is like 2,200. Like, with some light physical activity throughout the day, just to keep you alive, you work a desk job, 2,200. And you've been dieting on 2,100 calories. And you're lethargic as hell and you feel beat up. Mm-hmm. If you don't go to the gym that day, and you eat an extra 100 calories, and you eat 2,200 total calories for the entire day, and do no workout, you haven't lost. Yeah. You've broken even. It's just a wash of a day. And then you can get back onto your goals the next day, and you'll probably feel 10 times better. Yeah. So often we think that, like, we have to perform every day to be winning, but by not doing any damage, by staying the exact same, you're not really hurting yourself.
Not at all.
So you're not losing. Yeah, exactly. It might not have been a win that day, but you're not losing it. If your goals are realistic in 90, 120, 150 days out, what is one day where you broke even? Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't matter. And this is where we talk a lot about diet breaks and refeeds. Like, 1 out of 30 days where you calorie, you shoot high carb to bring your energy back. Like, this is where I'm happy that we're bringing light to this topic because I think so often, especially people get in this mindset of like deficit, 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 and like they keep beating themselves down, and we can't see it. Like we can't see our hormones, but it's taking a toll on our body. We're causing stress on our body repeatedly and not giving it enough fuel. And over months of doing that, it needs a break. It needs nutrition. It needs rest. Like so.
And just one quick thing is like when people are saying they're plateaued or this or that or they're at this weight that they can't beat, the first thing I ask them first is can you move more than just cutting the calories? Because you're going to just feel so much better if you have enough calories in you that you can go on a run and feel good. You can go on a walk. It gets dangerous physiologically when you're so low on calories that you don't have the energy to go on a walk.
Right.
That's like that's very dangerous levels.
And I've been there. Like
exactly.
Going on a walk around the neighborhood is like, oh my God, I'm scared.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, you don't want to live like that.
No,
you don't want to live like that.
It's not any way to live.
I think that moving more, eating more is completely better because not only that, when you're frequently moving, your digestion is better. You're moving nutrients around your body, your blood, your heart rate's going up. You're flushing nutrients out, and not only that, if you're super low on calories, the ability to get all your micronutrients in, your vitamins, your minerals, getting them in at adequate levels becomes a lot harder because you have less food in your diet, less diversity. Where by bringing up calories, you're getting more variety. Most likely, you're eating more. It could even help with metabolism boosting by eating more frequently, eating bigger meals. So I've always been a fan of move more, eat more.
Absolutely. No, 1,000,000%, man. Like that's the thing is movement gives you energy. Movement gives you life. So if you're ever at a point where you are eating so little and been dieting for so long that like you're like, I won't even do cardio. I won't move today because I'll just eat less. Yeah. Like I'll eat that much lower and it'll cancel out anyways. You're getting into dangerous territory.
I think so too.
Yeah. And then the last one, low libido. That's just this. I think that this one just kind of also goes into the overall quality of life. Do you want to have like energy and like a sex drive and like do you want to live life to the fullest, or do you want to put your body and your aesthetic over literally like the most important things of life?
Been there, done that. So you don't want to for sure, and yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. So
and that also means you're having hormonal imbalances, which for females could mean that you have like an off cycle menstrual cycle. You could lose it. You could, for men, it's very low sex drive and what's life without a sex drive? So, keeping it PG as always.
Keeping it PG.
I made eye contact with the camera for the YouTube viewers.
All right. Now we'll deep dive into, honestly, I believe, and the thing is, we just got into a lot of really good reasons why physiologically it can be really shitty to be in an aggressive diet for too long. But I think Chris and me can agree on this, that the psychological reasons they're more important, I believe, than the physiological reasons because of how detrimental they can genuinely be on you and your life.
I think we've seen them firsthand, not only between like you, me, our clients, like, but the mental effects that dieting can take. And I just got done reading a book called Brain Over Binge, and I can't remember the author, but Brain Over Binge, and it was actually really life-changing. It brought a whole new light on the way that we think, and also kind of some of the reasons that like dieting does become an issue mentally, and the long-term kind of tolls that it will take far after a diet might even be over. So
see that, and I think right there
by Catherine Hansen.
Yeah, but right there you just said it, like the diet, what's more important, your life overall or this 1 month, 2 month period that you're trying to eat as little as possible, get as lean as possible for a vacation or one summer. And if you do it too aggressively and too extreme, the effects can carry on with you the rest of your life, which is just like, and we'll get into some of the psychological stuff.
And I think the first one is what you have is, well, you can mix the first two, but like obsession with food and obsession with tracking food. And I think obsession with food is like one of the main like side effects I see with dieting, and that's like people are constantly thinking about their next meal. What are they going to eat? When are they going to eat? What time are they going to eat it? and it's all they can think about. What am I gonna eat? And life, I'm gonna take kind of what I got from the book I just read, and it's like we, as much as like we can still follow a plan, we can still be in a deficit, but like listening to your body and having that ability to like just go with the flow. Like open the refrigerator and be like, oh, I kind of feel like something, some yogurt and fruit, or like, oh, I really, I'm craving a salad. Or I think learning to create a healthy lifestyle where you eat healthy and nutritious foods because they're great for your body as fuel, and you want to fuel your car with good food, then having the ability to have the freedom of choosing what you desire at that moment and not overthinking it. Like I think the second you start to overthink it is the second you're messing up.
Yep. Because think about it this way: you want to live fully and presently in everything you're doing.
Right.
If you're constantly thinking about food all the time, you're taking away from the fruits of life or whatever you could be in the middle of at the moment.
Right.
Your relationships are affected.
Yeah.
You're you're never truly with someone because in the back of your head you're just thinking about food the entire time.
I'm going to be completely honest. On my last like really hard diet, that I was so obsessed with eating that it was like the second I got done with eating, it was going on to planning what I was going to eat in my next meal through MyFitnessPal, like planning out like what's the next meal going to be and what's the meal going to be after that. And what's my last meal going to be? And like, I remember spending my time with like my ex-girlfriend and like being obsessed with like, well, when are we going to eat next? And what are we going to eat? And what will fit in my plan? And where can we go that we can do that? And that is like, that absolutely sucks the life out of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's no way to live. I'm sorry.
And we're not saying to not track. We're saying that if you come to a place where it has overconsumed you and it's taken too much of a toll, where you're feeling some of these symptoms, you're feeling like what Chris is talking about, like it's nonstop. When you've just eaten, you're planning right away. How can I do this? How can I fit this? And it comes to a point to tie it into with tracking, like if you're weighing out your baby spinach to the nearest leaf, it's just becoming too much. It's too dangerous. Like there's not
15 calories per serving. I used to get a paper plate to weigh my spinach. 15 calories. Like going back to the 7,000 calorie deficit.
Exactly.
15 calories. Like looking back on it in hindsight, I was so obsessed and crazy, and I hope that viewers and people listening in can learn from like the experiences that I've had in the past, because it's not fun. It's time consuming. Like think about taking 30 minutes to cook an omelet because I had to weigh every single veggie that went into it and track it in MyFitnessPal. When realistically, like now, if I were to make an omelet with a bunch of veggies, realistically, I would probably throw in the egg whites, and then I would take a random veggie and pick like 2 or 3 servings of it and just throw it in MyFitnessPal and not care that it was peppers, onions. Like I used to be like 3 ounces of pepper, 2 ounces of onion, 4 ounces of spinach, and like, come on, like that wasted my time. That took away like the enjoyment, like just the enjoyment of life. It became stressful to track and manage and overthink everything.
Exactly.
And that's just it's dieting's gone too far when it's come to that.
And we're talking specifically about dieting and food, but like if anything is absolutely over consuming you, like to the point like, and obviously there's things that can be good for you, like that are good for you, and like slight obsession things is fine. But I'm trying to say, like, if it's literally taking away the enjoyment of every other aspect of your life and it's causing you anxiety, like if it's causing you a shit ton of anxiety every single day, then it's an issue. It's becoming an issue.
I think that as much as food should be something that you are thinking about, like your meals, like anyone who wants to be healthy, I'm gonna say this, like and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think when you've created a healthy and balanced lifestyle, it becomes much more easier just to make healthy options. Yeah. So by almost, and I'm not saying like it's not that you can't have certain foods, but by trying to limit those as much as possible and just sticking to like whole natural foods, it takes away a lot of the thinking because it's not even on the plate. If you don't have Oreos in the house, like it doesn't come down to concerning the tracking those Oreos because they're not even around. Like you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
So I think like over the years of my experience, it's learning. Like I have some really like key healthy ingredients that I love. Lean meats, yogurt, fruit, and veggies that I just put into different combinations. So I feel like I get a variety of meals. They work for me. I enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that I can probably eat as much as I want. And if I'm trying to diet, I'm gonna lose weight.
Sure.
And be very low in calorie. And
Mm-hmm.
depending on those fluctuations, a couple hundred a day, don't overthink it. Like, and I always try to explain to people too, like, I think often we're trying to hit that 2100, that 1800 on the dot every day, but like right now we're sitting and doing a podcast. Tomorrow you might be standing up and washing dishes.
Sure.
You're burning more calories tomorrow. Like you're not even thinking about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like outside of your normal exercise, training legs on one day compared to training a push day. Like
mm-hmm.
training legs demands so much more energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like no 2 days are alike
mm-hmm.
with your exercise and output. I don't care what your Apple Watch says.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't care what your Apple Watch says. All right. No 2 days are alike as far as calorie output. So that therefore don't obsess so much over the minor details in calorie input.
Mm-hmm.
I think like being consistent to I always say to like a range,
mm-hmm.
like a range of could be like 1900 to 2100, and
Yep.
some people might think that's a little bit mind blowing. Like, wow, you're not like, but like I think it's this range, and also like going into like, what's your activity that day? What are you training the next day? And the more you can educate yourself on your own body and the way that you feel, like the better more sustainable your diet's gonna be. I think.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm a huge proponent of calorie cycling. So by calorie cycling, let's say 1,800 calories a day is like the quote-unquote target. But multiply that by 7, and I don't have a calculator on me. I would need that. But that number is what I'm trying to get to or below.
12,600.
There you go, 12,600.
Yeah. That's your weekly goal.
That's the weekly goal, to hit that or get under. So the legs, the day that I hit legs and I'm more hungry, maybe I'll eat 2,000 calories there. But then maybe the day that I'm super busy in work and I'm not even thinking about food because I just have a lot of things that I get accomplished, maybe that day I eat 1,500.
Right.
Because not, like Chris said, every day isn't the same. And just
Right.
allowing
I
yourself
think
this flexibility is
learning
huge.
that is huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to like become confident in the process of, as long as I'm in that overall deficit, it doesn't really, the minor details don't matter so much.
It doesn't matter about every single day as it does about certain period of time. A long-term period of time. That's why like every single month, like when you take like your pictures, like don't stress out as much. Like if you know you're in a deficit and you're dieting, like the pictures are going to show, even if it's like a little bit here or there, like taking like the different side shots, the back shots, that can be so much more like, not appealing, but you'll feel so much better and relieved when you're not fixated on the fucking scale number every day, but the long period changes that you're like, oh man, like look at this, like I am making this progress, even if it's not reflected in the scale every single day.
Right, and it's not gonna be. To be honest, like it's gonna go up and down, and that's why I also like taking weekly averages of weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I don't look at day to day as much as like I'll take, if my average was 193 last week and it's 191 this week, then that tells me I lost 2 pounds that week. Mm-hmm. Where every day it's like ding, 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 ding. Yeah, as long as the trend is going down on a weekly basis, that's what I'm looking for.
A good app actually that does that and calculates those averages for you is it's called the Happy Scale app. So you can download that, and it's.
Is that what you use with the calendar? That's pretty.
No, I don't use that. I don't use that now, but I have in the past. And it was good. But yeah, so those are some things. Another thing that I believe that the dieting has gone too far, and this could be different. Like for example, for Chris, when he's doing a bodybuilding show and you're doing it competitively, but if someone's like your family or friends or someone is just like asking you to just like go out to a restaurant or grab lunch, like they're just trying to like connect with you and hang out with you. Like they don't know where your mind has been at and how like invested you are and how strict and tough you're being on yourself with your diet. So if you're getting super frustrated or like annoyed that they would even ask you to like come along with you, that I think at that point in time where you feel that you couldn't even go out to eat, then it's becoming too far as well. And I'm not saying like it's definitely when you're dieting going to be better to eat like cook your own food so you know for certain, but like once in a while here, they're like going out to eat. If it's totally giving you a phobia, then it's come too far, I believe, as well.
I think there's a few important things I want to stem off of there. I think there's 6 dimensions to wellness, and I don't know them all, but it's like spiritual, emotional, physical, social, and financial, like all these different areas of wellness. And I always tell people, I always say, are you putting too many stones into one bucket?
Mm-hmm.
If you're completely, and I see this all the time, where people are so concerned with physical wellness and health that they're leaving out all the other areas.
Yeah.
And that's not a healthy way of life. I don't care how visually healthy you look. If you have no relationships, if you're not doing things to help your business grow, like whatever it might be, or be a better employee, you're not necessarily healthy just because you look a certain way.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I always look at it like this. Yes, we want to look good. We want to be attractive. We have our physical health and wellness goals. One day we're all going to be 80.
Yep.
And most likely saggy and droopy and whatever it might be. But like, it will fade one day.
Yeah.
And it's great to have those goals, but you can't rely and put too many marbles into your physical health, because one day you're going to look up. I guarantee one day you will look up and say, I'm really upset that I turned down those, that dinner with my mom, that dinner with my father, when they asked me every weekend or whatever it might be. And I mean, I'm happy that I'm only 24 and I've made a lot of changes in my life, but I'm happy that now I'm so much more open, because for years, friends would ask me to come over, and it could be as simple as a movie night. I would say no because I was scared about food.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no way to live life.
Yeah.
And if that's becoming an issue for you, then I highly recommend reevaluating or even reaching out. Like, I'm really open about it, which is different than most people, I feel like.
I think that we can at the end of it give like practical ways to like work on it,
Right.
like getting out of the diet and
We're
how to
not
kind of
clinical psychologists.
Yeah, but
either,
at least just like from our experiences
Right.
and what we've seen with people.
Another thing I was going to hit on too is communicating with people. I think a lot of the times we go wrong too, because we expect people to know what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Especially people we're close with. Like, if, for example, today I was asked, I have 2 morning clients that I love, and they were like, Chris, let's go to Mike's Diner. And I literally just right off the bat said, you know what, guys, I don't think I want to go today. I have my fitness goals I'm trying to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like communicating to them, not like making up some excuse like, oh no, I'm gonna be busy, because then you're gonna beat yourself up over it. You can be open with people too, like, hey, like right now I'm really locked in on my fitness goals.
Yeah.
I don't really want to eat out, but I don't mind. Let's go see a movie, man.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, we could do something.
Let's go to the bunker and hit some golf balls. You can have a couple of drinks, but I'm choosing not to.
Yeah.
And I think like the more you can be open, like I'll go to social events and not drink, and people are like, well, why are you drinking? It's just not my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
And no, if people can't accept you for those goals, if they're gonna pressure you into doing things that make you uncomfortable, probably like now we're talking like maybe they're not the best people to be hanging around.
Yeah.
But it also depends, like, where you're at, and maybe all the stars align sometimes. Maybe you've had an intense leg day, you're feeling a little bit run down, and your best friend asks you to go out to eat, and you're like, what, I deserve to have
Sure.
a little bit, because yes, I just said I deserve. Sometimes you do deserve, I think, to have an indulgence.
You have the opportunity to change your mind and decide when and where, if you would like to eat in this exact situation or if you don't others. Just because you did it one time doesn't mean you have to say yes every single time. And just because you said no to one experience doesn't mean you can't say yes to another. We have the right to change how we're feeling and our opinions and like what is best for us in the specific moment.
Don't ever there's other things you can choose to, like maybe you choose to go out to eat or to attend the social event. Like, there's been times where I go to like a family dinner and all I have is a dry salad with a little bit of lean meat, like turkey and some salad. And people are like, that's all you're going to eat? And then instead of like trying to like, I'll literally just be upfront, like, oh, I'm watching what I'm eating right now.
Yeah.
It's plain, it's simple, it's dry, but I'm still here with you, enjoying the moment and enjoying the time with family and friends. And usually they usually understand where I'm coming from. That, or you can decide like, I'm going to indulge, but don't beat yourself up over that either. Like, if you deserve and you take that route, like, I'm going to indulge tonight, I'm going to enjoy this night out with my friends because I haven't seen them in 3 months, you've entered that door. Now go all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't beat yourself up over it. The next day. Don't restrict. That's another thing. Never restrict after. Like, if you go out for a night, just go right back to the plan.
Yeah, don't penalize yourself.
Yeah, that's another bad one too.
And absolutely, like we just talked about recently, like just because you did eat out with your friends and you enjoyed like a basket of chips and guac, don't feel like you have to run 20 miles the next day to make up for
it. That leads towards like bulimia, really. And that's a form of purging. If you decide to like over restrict the next day and or over exercise, this is a form of purging calories that you've consumed. I always try to reframe it, and it's rather than looking at like a high calorie day or a high calorie meal as a complete mess up. I look at it more as now an opportunity as refueling my body, and now I'm gonna go on and like my mind says I know I'm gonna have some sick workouts the next few days because my body's got that energy stored up. So by reframing, the way we look at things, and in this, I mean, like I was saying earlier, like learn from our experience because. That's like we've been through this, so I'd rather not see people struggle with some of the things that I've been through or you've been through, and just learn from us.
Yeah, no, man, I think you said it phenomenally there, and some other examples of some psychological reasons, like maybe you just need a break in life, like that vacation is coming up, and like we've talked about, you have the right to continue that diet strong on the vacation. But maybe you're going somewhere exotic. Maybe you're going to see family you haven't in a while. Like the relief that you're going to gain, I believe, if you're in moderation and not just binging and overeating the entire week, which you could potentially just come back feeling not so hot. But if you're aiming to just like hit maintenance, just practice moderation, practice portion control, I genuinely believe that the psychological benefits that you could gain from that week are going to outweigh the potential physical benefits that you would maybe lose an extra pound from continuing the diet at the same pace you're going.
And remember too, like you're not losing if you're breaking even.
Exactly. People are.
Yeah, if you hear that, that's the gym turning up. That's the community and the culture. But yeah, you're not losing, if you're breaking even in a diet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's another important thing too.
Yeah, and then another one. If in life things, for example, maybe you have a new job, or maybe someone in your family is ill, or just like some type of thing that happens in life that's more important than the diet that you're on, maybe it's just a good time to just take your foot off the gas, like take care of life, like whatever is happening, like you don't have to attack it all at one time and just add to the stresses of obviously can happen just in everyday life. So like there's always, if you need to take that diet break and just shoot for maintenance or just not even think about tracking and just hit portion control, that is always an option for you. You can always pick it up right back where you left off.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but that's so those are some of the reasons we have that the dieting has probably come too far if you're struggling with any of those areas. Some practical tips, I believe, and Chris, you can add some whatever you want to, but I think if it's gone too far, to stop the tracking and really just practice portion control. And by portion control, I love to just stick to the 3 plates, 2 snacks method, and essentially all that method of portion control. Oh, nice. There you go. Chris is controlling the music from up here, hitting up the people. But so the portion control method is essentially on every single plate, just make sure it's a balanced meal. So you have a quarter of it is going to be your protein, about the size of your fist. Half the plate is veggies, and then the other quarter of your plate is going to be your starches and carbs or whatever you want on that plate. So each meal, you just have 1 plate. You make it look like that. And then you're allowed 2 snacks like per day. The 2 snacks, preferably a protein like a Greek yogurt or a fruit fit in the palm of your hand. That's just a great strategy to just not be thinking so meticulously about the numbers and more so just on the quality of food and the portion, which is what I would hope, and I think is the goal down the line when we're well far past the super specific fitness aesthetic goals, is that would be the goal to just have a much healthier relationship with food, which I believe you're going to gain long term by just understanding portions and when you're actually hungry and when you're feeling satisfied and full.
So yeah, I think if you are experiencing any of these kind of side effects of dieting, I think the biggest thing to do is understanding, like I was saying earlier about the dimensions of wellness, that you are probably too invested into your physical wellness and health. And we need to now reallocate some of our attention into other areas and take some of the attention off of fitness. Like I said, fitness should be fun. Your diet should be fun. It should be interesting. It should be different flavors, variety. Like,
use it at the time to be creative.
Right. I get way more creative when I'm dieting.
Yeah.
So I think this whole process should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It should be something that you look forward to, enjoy outside of your work, outside of the stresses of life, demands of life. You should look forward to coming to the gym. You should look forward to your dieting, and getting creative. That being said, I think if you are experiencing these side effects, the biggest thing that I always recommend is taking a step away from tracking, from over analyzing your workouts, from tracking every set and every weight that you do, and coming in. Sometimes for me, it's like, I'm gonna go back to basics. I always say back to basics.
The fun
so it's like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna train whatever I feel like. Maybe I don't feel like training legs today because I'm low energy. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna do a little full upper body pump.
Yeah.
What am I gonna eat today? I don't fucking know. I'm gonna just eat healthy though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fill my body with lean meats and lean protein, fruits, veggies.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that,
it's gonna be such a nice break. The relief's gonna be amazing.
It's a nice break. You're not tracking. You're not over analyzing. You're eliminating stress caused by dieting and analysis of your exercise and your programming. That, and you're getting back to just enjoying it.
Yeah. Why you started in the first place.
Right. And most of the time, I always when you first started going to the gym, I always look back to when I first started going to the gym. I didn't track a goddamn thing. I did bicep curls. I did tricep extent. Whatever you felt like that day. Mm-hmm. And I ate whatever the hell I kind of felt like. I tried to eat healthy because I was going to the gym. Mm-hmm. And guess what? I was in good shape. Pretty good shape. So it's like, if I could just basically know nothing and just focus on the basic principles of eat healthy and move and be in pretty good shape, why not just get back to that? Yeah. So sometimes I do, I think everybody that goes to the gym has a little bit of an obsessive kind of personality and drive. Like we expect more from ourselves. There's a reason we're in the gym. There's a reason gym goers are very driven people. And we expect more from ourselves. We demand more from ourselves. But it hits a point where it gets to be too much sometimes. And by going back to basics, you won't hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that is much needed.
To heal yourself, genuinely.
Yes. So don't be afraid to take a step back. And know that you're not going to realistically lose that much.
And just recognize how important it is to realize that we are in this for the long run.
Right.
If you're looking at this over a year, even if you take that break for 2 months, what is nothing. 2 months of 12 months?
This is a marathon too. You shouldn't exercise, dieting, healthy lifestyle is not something that you do for a period of time. It's something you do for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
When I'm 90, I'm hoping that I'm still hopping on the recumbent bike. That's something so I plan to exercise. I plan on having this a part of my day for the rest of my life. The last thing I want to do is burn myself out to the point where I hate it.
Exactly.
Or I don't want to be doing it.
What a horrible way to live.
Yeah. So it's back to basics. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like it's gone too far, back to basics.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's the biggest thing I've ever learned. And it's something that after every competition season, after every time where I felt completely burnt out, that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
Yeah. Dude, I love it. And then just get back to the things that give you life, that fuel you, that heal you, whether it's reading, listening to podcasts, meditation, maybe some type of hobby, art, if you like art, or I don't know, and literally anything. Right. It's just get back to having fun again, and just not taking life so seriously.
And remember that the gym is supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
Gym, health, wellness goals, this should be a fun journey. This should be a fun and exciting process. Mm-hmm. So make it that.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it, bro.
I think today was a really an amazing talk, and if you've made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for listening and following this whole thing. And I genuinely hope that you got something from this. And keep in mind, Brandon and I we have completely kind of different stories. We've had struggles, we've had very highlight type of real moments, but we've gained so much knowledge and insight. And we both genuinely love helping people. So if you are struggling, if you have any questions or follow up, don't be afraid to reach out to us, because we'll be here to help you. And I can almost promise you right now, anything that you come to me with, I've probably experienced worse, or I know someone that has.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to judge you for that. And just want to be here to help.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more, my friend. And we're always here for you guys. If you want to reach out to us on Instagram, come by Legacy. Exciting things here, man.
Yeah,
and this place
so
is
much going on with Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have no idea what's in store. This place, this brand, is about to go off to another level, I think. And it can't be done without the amazing people here. And so if you're not with us right now, you're missing out.
Yeah, 100%. All right, yeah.
All right, so thank you guys so much for listening. That's episode 14. It's a wrap. When is dieting gone too far? Obsessive thoughts with food, tracking food obsessively, physiological effects, low libido, low energy, lightheadedness, loss of muscle mass and strength. We don't want to live life like that. If you're struggling, feel free to hit us up or go back to the basics. Whatever you can do. Remember, life has 6 dimensions of wellness. Put attention into every single one every single day. Do not get obsessive over exercise and physical health, because remember, when you're 80 years old, we're all going to end up fat fucks. So until next time, we will catch you.
Peace.
Peace out.